Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for June 11th. June 11th is the 162nd day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 163rd in leap years, with 203 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is meander. As a verb, meander can mean to follow a winding course, to move aimlessly, or to speak or write without a focus. As a noun, meander can mean a curve or bend in a path, stream, etc., a winding path, or a circuitous journey, a ramble. The word meander is named after a river in Turkey with a similar name, which is known for its winding course. Earliest documented use is 1576. I'd like to take a moment to mention that links to my research are included in the show notes. Ask you to go ahead and click that like button. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with others and let me know your thoughts in the comments section. And with that, we're going to start all the way back in the year 1184 BC. 1184 BC, when, according to calculations by Eratosthenes, the city of Troy was sacked and burned in the Trojan War. On June 11, 1509, Henry VIII of England married Catherine of Aragon. That was his first wife. Other than that, we have talked about Henry before, and I don't need to go on about it right now. On June 11, 1748, Denmark adopted the characteristic Nordic Cross Flag, later taken up by all the other Scandinavian countries, in different colors, of course. British explorer Captain James Cook ran aground on the Great Barrier Reef on June 11, 1770. On June 11, 1776, the Continental Congress appointed Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Roger Sherman, and Robert Livingston to a committee of 5 to draft the Declaration of Independence. A fire consumed large portions of Detroit in the Michigan Territory on June 11, 1805. One of the world's first film studios, known as the Limelight Department, was officially established in Melbourne, Australia on June 11, 1892. This is the birthday of Japanese businessman Kiichiro Toyoda, born June 11, 1894. The Toyota family business was an automatic loom works business. Kiichiro convinced his father to expand the loom works into an automobile division, and that's how we have the Toyota Motor Corporation today. Kiichiro lived to the age of 57. This is the birthday of French biologist, author, inventor, and oceanographer Jacques Cousteau, born June 11, 1910. I remember him from the undersea world of Jacques Cousteau. Those were some great shows. Mr. Cousteau lived to the age of 87. This is the birthday of American football player, coach, and manager Vince Lombardi, born June 11, 1913. He lived to the age of 57. Inventor Irwin Armstrong gave the first public demonstration of FM broadcasting in the United States at Alpine, New Jersey on June 11, 1935. An event known as the Great Purge or the Great Terror was a campaign of political repression in the Soviet Union which occurred from 1936 to 1938. This involved a large-scale repression of wealthy peasants and genocidal acts against ethnic minorities, the purge of Communist Party and government officials, Red Army leadership, widespread police surveillance, suspicion of saboteurs, imprisonment, and arbitrary executions. All of that as background to say that on June 11, 1937, during the Great Purge, Soviet Union under Joseph Stalin executed 8 army leaders. This is the birthday of Scottish race car driver and sportscaster Jackie Stewart, born on June 11, 1939. Still alive, he turns 81 in 2020. The United States agreed to send Lend-Lease aid to the Soviet Union on June 11, 1942. And you just never know what you're going to come across when you're researching birthdays for this day in history. This is the birthday of English singer, songwriter, and guitarist Richard Palmer James, born June 11th, 1947. He has more than 500 credits on Discogs.com and may be best known as one of the founding members of the group Supertramp. Who remembers Supertramp? I know some of you do. He also wrote lyrics for several songs by the group King Crimson in the early 70s, although he didn't participate in any of the recordings. Still alive, he turns 73 in 2020. This is the birthday of Donnie Van Zandt, born June 11, 1952. Best known for being a member of the band 38 Special, he's also the brother of Lynyrd Skynyrd's Johnny Van Zandt and the late Ronnie Van Zandt. Still alive, Donnie turns 68 in 2020. On June 11, 1962, Frank Morris, John Anglin, and Clarence Anglin allegedly became the only prisoners to escape from the prison on Alcatraz Island. On June 11, 1963, the governor of Alabama, George Wallace, defiantly stood at the door of Foster Auditorium at the University of Alabama in an attempt to block two black students, Vivian Malone and James Hurd, from attending that school. Later in the day, accompanied by federalized National Guard troops, they were able to register, and I am very pleased to report that they both completed their educations and had good productive lives and careers. Miss Malone lived to the age of 63 and Mr. Hurd lived to the age of 70. Later that same day, on June 11, 1963, President John F. Kennedy addressed Americans from the Oval Office to propose the Civil Rights Act of 1964. The intention of this act was to revolutionize American society by guaranteeing equal access to public facilities, ending segregation in education, and guaranteeing federal protection for voting rights. On June 11, 1998, Compaq Computer paid $9 billion for the Digital Equipment Corporation in a huge high-tech acquisition. Interestingly, in 2002, Compaq signed a merger agreement with Hewlett-Packard. Both companies had to seek approval from their shareholders. It was a squeaker, but it did go through, and if you're a stock trader, the Q in Hewlett-Packard's ticker symbol is a tip of the hat to Compaq. H and P for Hewlett-Packard and Q for Compaq. On June 11, 2001, Timothy McVeigh was executed for his role in the Oklahoma City bombing. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something that you didn't know before. I know I sure did. I always do. Give it a like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this with others with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. You can check out my other channel, 8 Susquehanna. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. We will edit that out. A little wiggly camera here. Let's see if we can do that part again. All right, let's try that again. I've got my tongue wrapped around my eye teeth and I couldn't see what I was saying. We'll start from the beginning. Signed the it's a mouthful. Archaeologist. And we'll probably leave that part out. I don't know how all that's going to go together, or if it's even going to make it to the video. We'll just see. That's not going to go. Yeah, we're going to cut those out. That'll all be laying on the cutting room floor. So I'll just do that whole thing over. That might not make it into the video. We'll see. Changing it up.